How to navigate the minefield of internal user feedback.
Obtaining feedback from internal users is a common practice in product development, but it's important to be aware of the risks involved. In this video, we'll explore the benefits and risks of using internal user feedback, as well as solutions to mitigate those risks. First, let's define what internal user feedback is. It is the process of gathering input about your company's product or service from your colleagues. This feedback can include information about usability, functionality, design, and overall satisfaction. It's an important part of user-centered design and helps ensure that the products or services developed by a company meet the needs of the users.
Key points. Internal user feedback is the gathering of feedback about a company's product or service from the company's staff before it is released to the market.
Next, we'll discuss why you should use internal user feedback. It's a valuable tool when developing new products, as it can help you avoid costly mistakes and improve your final product. Additionally, involving internal users in the development process can help prevent potential issues that can arise from designing a product without input from end users. And, it's cost-effective as internal users are readily available and often less expensive to use than external users.
Key points. Internal user feedback is budget-friendly and a quick way to obtain input from people familiar with the problem being solved. It can provide valuable insights, reducing risk and improving the final product. It can be integrated into the development process at any stage.
Now, let's talk about the risks associated with using internal user feedback. One risk is that internal users may not be representative of the target market and their feedback may not reflect the feedback of external users. Another risk is that internal users may not be honest or unbiased in their feedback due to their relationship with the company and you. There is a strong inclination to provide positive and encouraging feedback.
Key points. Do not assume internal user feedback is the same as external user feedback, and be aware of the danger of receiving biased, overly positive feedback. Be mindful of the distinction between the needs of your internal users and the actual end users.
To mitigate these risks, it is essential to be rigorous when gathering this type of feedback. Approach it with a clear methodology to ensure that the feedback obtained is accurate and unbiased. Combat positive bias by including critical, honest, and negative people in feedback groups. Prepare interview questions by assuming a strong positive bias and use leading questions that lead to negative prepositions. Reduce bias by keeping distance from the person giving feedback and don't conduct the interviews yourself. Also consider anonymous feedback. Reduce groupthink by including devil's advocate and selecting feedback from diverse people across the organization. When obtaining internal user feedback, avoid group discussions to prevent them from devolving into brainstorming sessions or being dominated by the loudest individuals. Mitigate the risk of internal users having different needs than final users by defining user personas, understanding their needs and taking into account differences in usage patterns, constraints and incentives when obtaining feedback.
Key points. Seek input from critical employees, structure questions rigorously, and have someone else conduct the interviews. Ensure diverse test groups and avoid group feedback. Remember that internal users are not the same as final users. Do not rely solely on internal user feedback.
In conclusion, obtaining internal user feedback is a valuable tool in product development, but it's important to be aware of the potential biases and risks that come with it. While it's not possible to eliminate bias, it can be minimized with preparation and mitigation efforts. Take positive feedback with a grain of salt and do not assume it's completely honest. On the other hand, negative feedback should not be accepted as gospel truth. It's important to remember that internal users may have different needs and priorities than external users, and feedback from internal users may not be applicable or relevant to external users. Avoid open discussion groups when gathering internal user feedback. Open discussion groups can lead to groupthink and negatively impact your development. Instead, use group forums to brainstorm and generate new ideas to investigate, but not to obtain feedback on current concepts. Your colleagues will not be buying your product, so relying solely on internal user feedback is a dangerous approach that can result in a product not being aligned with the target market. Therefore, gathering a diverse range of feedback is essential to ensure that the final product meets the needs of the end users. By understanding the risks of internal user feedback and taking steps to mitigate them, you can continue to gather valuable insights from your colleagues while minimizing the risk and bias in the feedback you receive.
Thank you for watching. We hope you found this video informative. To read the full article, please visit the link on the screen.